Yes, it was Joey and Steve both can't make it.
This is it.
Yes.
Want me to start?
Go right ahead.
Okay, thanks, guys. It is December 9th, 4:03. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'll do a roll call of planning commission members. Howard Tritz.
Here.
And you said Joey Edwards is not here this evening.
Correct.
And Steve Stevens.
Is not coming.
Okay, and then Dave Clark Barrow.
Here.
Jason Rufo.
Here.
Heather Lind here. And commissioners Fiedler, Mudge, or Edwards. Okay. We have minutes to approve from November 12th.
I'll
Anybody?
make the motion to approve the meetings of December 12th.
November 12th. I'll modify his motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Great. Updates from staff.
Yeah, we have a few updates. First is tomorrow evening at the senior center will be SE Group, a local planning firm is working, the Board of County Commissioners have hired them to start looking at some potential planning on the Harrison Park. We're kind of referring to it as a Harrison Park parcel that's owned by Lake County behind the elementary school. They'll be at the senior center between, I think the time, I may have it wrong, I think it's 3 to 7. Just meeting with the public and taking in input and information. Flyers have gone out, but there will be, if you wanna drop by the senior center and talk with the planning group. This is, again, very early discussions, nothing has been determined on the site. We are just in the midst of gathering public input at this point. So that's happening tomorrow night. The other item that I would, I think at some point what we'd like to do with your blessing is, there's Hal, is bring in to maybe a workshop kind of setting, doing what we're calling the values worksheet with the, on the One Community Project. And so again, that is, it's time, it'll be, you are in charge, the planning commission, the city and the county planning commissions are authorized under statute to create and adopt a new comprehensive plan. And so this is our long range guiding policy document, and we'll be looking at doing that. But the front part of this is we're meeting in small groups throughout the community to do the values exercise. And that basically is asking 3 questions. What do we love about Leadville, Lake County? What brings you here? What's your story? How did you get here? And what keeps you here? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? And what are your concerns? And so we're going out, we just recently met, we were invited to the high school and we met with the high school leadership class. And got to spend an hour with them. It was really wonderful. They were filled with ideas and different to those 3 questions. It was really eye-opening and we're excited to be bringing this information forward. So it was really fun to meet with the students. We've also asked for their help and kind of in reaching their peers and in different ways that they meet with their sports groups, their clubs, and they go through the exercise and bring us back that information. We've encouraged them through a pizza party. If we can, they have come up with some ideas that where they'd like to go. And so we'd love to further incentivize that. So we're excited about that. And then we went to the senior center. So, and we're gonna continue to go out and kind of be small group, but it was great. I mean, to be able to hear all of their feedback and their thoughts about what makes us great and what their hopes are, what their concerns are. So far, it's just been really exciting to be able to go out into the community and meet with different small groups, and then we had the engagement, second engagement meeting on Thursday last week. And you, Heather or Cece, you guys might wanna update about that, because I had a conflict with a choir concert at the intermediate school.
I had a conflict with the flu, so
Oh,
I
the
also
flu?
was not there, unfortunately. No, that was a week ago now.
Yes, so go ahead, Beth.
It was great. I think there were quite a few conflicts because we had like 20 or so people there. But we went through the values and visioning exercise with community builders, and so that the group kind of got a feel for how to do it within their small groups within the community. So that's really the next stage in the work, is all of us going into our smaller community groups, spreading the word and doing those sessions. And yeah, we collected 20 more though.
That's
20
great.
20 more value sheets from our
Yeah.
group.
You know, and I think that we are just, as your planning staff, we're really starting to see the value and the power of getting in and integrating into the community in small groups, so we can really hear the voices. You know, this project is designed at leaving no one behind. So if there is anything that anybody participates in that you're like, wow, it'd be really great if you get, you know, we all met and talked amongst ourselves in this setting, or, you know, whatever your you know, your influences might be in the community, we'd love for you to kind of learn how to facilitate one of those. And so what we were thinking about is just bringing it in and doing it as the planning commission.
Yeah.
And then you can take and replicate that in any other groups that you participate in. But we're really excited to start getting this very diverse. We're trying to go out to our faith-based community, different venues across a lot of different just areas, and the engagement team are kind of our community connectors that we've identified, that, you know, everybody's just kind of reaching out into whoever their kind of sphere of influence is. But we'd really like to, we've also starting to see that this is kind of an opportunity to do some restorative work. You know, we're getting feedback that you know, maybe there's room for improvement, and so we're really kind of slowing the process down to say, hey, has there been some misinformation, or has there been you know, a way that we could hear your concerns, and maybe we can make some progress on that. So we're really kind of slowing down because we initially thought we were gonna have a big launch community-wide, but we're really starting to feel like there's a lot of power in the small groups, because you can really talk to people, and people feel really comfortable, you know, just kind of putting out what their concerns are, or what their hopes are, and what their vision is for the future. So it's starting to get some momentum, and it's starting to feel really good. So if you have any ideas about, hey, it'd be really great if this group got together and talked about it, let us know. Or you can facilitate that, but first we thought we would just come in and do it as a group. We're meeting with the library staff on the
Thursday.
12th, that Thursday. We're gonna do it at CPD, we're just gonna kind of try to go into different departments. And so people are wearing their work hats, but they're also wearing just their community member hat, right? So we're getting to families and kids and youth and our seniors, and so, you know, if there's a knitting group that you belong to, or a book club that you belong to, or, you know, wherever that you'd like to maybe, you know, just take that discussion in and bring us back information, that'd be great.
So my question would be, the information that's collected during those meetings, what happens with that information? Is it being brought to the next small group meeting, or?
So that is
posted?
all the data that we're bringing in to drive, because what we're gonna do is take all that information, and then we're gonna come up with some findings. We are already starting to see some universal themes. We're starting to see, it was interesting, even what our youth said, you know, there were kids that we said, what are your hopes and dreams? And you kind of expect sometimes for some of the youth to want more services, and some of them certainly said that, but some of them were like, we don't want Leadville to get too big. We love that it's a small town. We love the way that you can, you know everybody and they, so there was this really sense, so we're gonna take, so not that I'm still diving,
Right.
going away from your question. But your question is, we're gonna take all that in, and compile it, with the facilitation of the county, the city and community builders. Then we're going to put that information out in some findings, and then we're gonna take it back out and say, did we hear you right? Is this, so then we're gonna fact check it and make sure that it is, kind of resonating, so that eventually we come up with a vision that has, the general buy-in or the majority of the consensus of what we heard. So we're gonna take it all in, kind of digest it, and put all that information together, take it back out, make sure that we got it right, and then come to an agreement on a shared vision, and then we'll go into the comp plan.
And then is there an alternative to people that aren't able to attend a small group? And is that being
Absolutely.
advertised in some way that
That's
they can, okay,
Great question. We have a website. The One Community Project is a website, and that'd be really great if we sent that out to everybody on, because you can go on and you can do the form online too.
Okay.
You don't have to participate in a small group. We're also collecting some demographic information, which is optional, but it's really nice too, that the form does have, some information on it so that we can kind of have more data but we're really trying to, if we're roughly a little over 7,000 in population, I think that we were trying to kind of set like, what's our goal of how many forms would we get, and I think we got to like 4,800. So we're really very ambitious, that'd be remarkable to get that many in, but we're really out there trying to find everybody in every walk within our community. And, sit down and have a conversation, and that'll probably eventually, maybe be just having, like St. George's is going to participate in their community meals. And it may be going out and sitting in a restaurant and saying, we're just, stop by and see us, and, we may have some free snacks or something. But we're also talking about reaching our Latinx community, finding where would be the best place to hold an event to really reach them. We have members from our Latinx community on our project management team who are really helping us understand how, what is the most comfortable meeting space in order to meet, and how do they have, to help us kind of guide us through that and shepherd us through. But we're trying to just find people and really come out to the community and get in people's comfort zone where they feel comfortable, Going into a large public engagement can be really intimidating, so.
To at least give honest answers and not get into arguments or
Right.
whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
but so we really like this kind of intimate, small group setting, to really get the word out and to really start getting in, some authentic answers and input, so. Really pretty excited about it. But the
Yeah.
website is another way, you don't have to go to a small group, you can just get on, you can let your voice be heard and provide information, so you can go right through the website too.
And there's gonna be drop boxes around town as well, eventually.
Yeah, for the paper forms, so, if you're filling it out, you can even take a picture though and upload it, you can, whatever
Yeah.
method, you want.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and
And
we're
then-
out grabbing them up like crazy.
the timeline for this
That's a great
process, like how
question.
long is that?
We're thinking that the comp plan itself, we're trying to hope that we might have the comp plan done by fall of next year. But the nice thing about, again, working with community builders is we're not doing a consultant that's like, okay, here's the RFP and here's our deliverables and here's our drop dead date. They assure us, and what they have done in other communities is they stick with us until we get it right. So fall of next year, or this coming year, is what we're hopeful for, but there's no desire to rush the process. It really is a time of so much great uncertainty as a local community and as a nation. We just wanna make sure we get it right. So if we need to slow down, we'll slow down. If we're checking boxes and things are feeling really good and we're getting great feedback, then we'll keep progressing. But we have the ability, because of the way that we set up the partnership, that if we need to take a little extra time, we'll take it. So, okay,
Any other questions? Cool, thanks.
yeah. Oh, a couple other updates. Timber Ranch subdivision will be coming to you February 10th. And one of the reasons that we extended that is we had one of those aha moments where we are realizing we couldn't hold a public hearing on January 13th because we swear in our new county commissioners January 14th. So you wouldn't be able to have a joint public hearing with your commissioners yet. And we also want to get that DOLA training in on quasi judicial process and just all of those, we need to let a new board kind of acclimate. They're gonna come in, immediately have a public hearing in a quasi judicial setting, and that's gonna be new for all three of them, I believe. And so we just wanted to build in a little bit of time for that to give them some training and answer questions before we put them in that space. So it's been extended now till February 10th. That'll be your
And
first.
Timber Ranch is which one?
That is the subdivision off County Road 4, just to the west of Westwoods, along County Road 4.
So the one we just did a sketch plan,
Correct.
so this is preliminary.
This will be preliminary.
I see, okay.
Yeah,
I was like-
they're in with preliminary, and Timber Ranch gets a little complicated because it's a subdivision.
Yeah,
And then we're gonna also take one of the parcels that we're creating through this subdivision and
Develop.
apply planned unit development to it. So we're doing this concurrent, two different actions, but we're running them concurrently together.
right, okay.
So, any other Box Creek, we are still working, with CDOT, the traffic study came back, from the applicant, I just saw a message before I came in, it still has quite a few substantially missing pieces before CDOT can give us an idea of what kind of improvement would have to happen to the highway at, County Road, 10 and Highway 24. There is also, I think it's okay, we received a press release today that CJK Mill operation has made a public announcement that they have found an alternative to cyanide for their recovery agent. And so they have put out a press release that they will be coming in with a milling operation that does not include cyanide. So that was newsworthy today that we received that news release, so I'll share that. And I think the only other updates department wise, just to let you know, we our GIS tech is no longer with us. However, we've got several really good applicants in the mix. And so we'll be doing a round of interviews. I think that we've got 6 or 7 applicants that we feel like would be good candidates. So we'll be doing interviews for that.
And this was Bryce?
And it was Bryce and then it was Tristan.
Oh, okay, so
So
Tristan is
Tristan
one.
had taken over as our GIS tech, but we have very qualified candidates interested in the position, so we're excited that we might be able to fill that and we won't feel too much of a gap here. The other item is that our environmental health specialist has given notice as well. He'll be leaving us the end of January, but again, that'll give us some time. So if you know anybody with an environmental health background specific to on-site wastewater treatment systems, send them our direction, pretty specialized area of knowledge. But we do have a little bit of time. He's been incredibly courteous in giving us until the end of January
Yeah.
to also help us if we can find the right person onboard them. So I think those are our kind of updates, cause anything else we were gonna, I think we have on the agenda.
Do we wanna talk about the second meeting in December? I think we'll cancel that one.
Yeah, so everybody feel pretty good that they don't wanna, obviously, we're not gonna meet on, the 23rd of December, I don't think. And would you all like to just forego the second meeting this month? We don't have anything really at the ready and prepared to present, we have no public hearings. We didn't schedule anything for a second meeting in December, and so that would put us meeting in January. And then that second meeting in January is when we would want to do the training, so that we can just get, back up to, and this time, the DOLA training might even make more sense to everyone, because I know it's a lot the very first time you get all that information. So we're gonna set it up with Casey McPherson again to do the board training, so we definitely have 2 meetings in January, but this would be our only meeting in December, give everybody a little break.
Sounds
Get
okay to me.
energized, and then we'll come back in January.
I did just realize we do have a ADUCP for the second meeting in January. Will that be okay?
Yeah, for the second meeting in January,
Mhm.
yeah.
With the training, yeah.
And I think we were gonna talk about draft sign code that day. So it might be a full agenda, but
When we are making, we had, I think that's another great, share out, is that we, met with Tim Berry. Tim Berry is no longer a practicing attorney, but he was the land use attorney for for Breckenridge, and he actually, worked in the county as a county attorney, for a period of time as well. He now is on the Board of Adjustment, but during his tenure with Breckenridge, he did a sign ordinance. So he's really gone through, and we've just talked to him, about his experience, because there's been very big legislation regarding content of signage. And so we wanted to make sure that as we draft the new regulations, that we aren't, imposing on or unintentionally, doing something that is, illegal. Because you cannot, have anything within your sign code that is content based. You can't regulate based on content, freedom of speech, and different, so we can't even look at, we have to be careful about calling a sign a political sign, because how did you know that?
Yeah.
Unless you read the content of the sign. So we're gonna stick to our new code being things like pole signs, monument signs, wall signs that are on businesses, but we're gonna be very content neutral. And otherwise we would run the risk of litigation on our sign code. So he was just really, really beneficial for him to share his experience and how he's able to manage content neutral signage, but still have a sign code. So, we met with him, it was really great information, and so we're making some headway on the sign code, so we'll be bringing that in for you to look at. But again, not looking to fix any problems that we haven't identified, so we're not getting overly regulatory in the draft. We really are looking at things like, type of sign, sign area, how many signs, where they can be located, and, what's the composite or the materials of the sign. So those are really the things that and then also, of course, maintenance of signage to make sure that the things don't become dilapidated or blighted. But those are the things that we had identified through the work session, and so we're not concerned that we're gonna have any challenges in bringing a sign code forward that is content neutral, so. Okay, and I know I've said it before, but that's all the updates.
Thanks, those are
Sure.
good, those are good ones. Okay, we'll move right on down to new business. Item number 1 is the planning commission board appointments.
Yes, so we have two, I think we announced this before, we have 2 members expiring at the end of the year. I think we are all probably pretty grateful for me to announce that Heather's put in her letter of interest. So we will be bringing that, recommendation to keep that consistent, position on the board. And I have a beautiful letter from Howard, but I'd like to wait till we have all the planning commissioners here to read it, because I'd really like to read it to all of you and share it during a meeting, Howard, but I'd like to make sure that Joey and Steve are here when I do. So, it's so hard to imagine a planning commission without Howard, but he is not going to put in a letter of interest. But he has said that he would stay with us until we could find a replacement. So, anyway, we can talk more about that when everybody's, present, and unless Howard, you have something you wanna say now. But we'd like to save that, cause we might wanna do something, I don't know, a little special around that, so.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it, of course, but let's wait till that next time.
Okay, let's do it, let's do it then, because I love your letter, it's really great and I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
share it with everyone. And then we've had, one letter of interest from Ryan Hill. He lives at 114 East 15th Street, and I guess I should mention that we are a 7-person board, 5 regular members and 2 alternates. So what, staff would recommend right now, and you can start thinking about, is that, Jason, you've been filling one of those alternate positions. And so what we would encourage you to consider as a recommendation that we take to the new Board of County Commissioners is that, we would move Jason up to a regular member, and the spots that we're looking to fill are the alternate positions. That allows new people to come onto the planning commission, get a little more seasoned, have some of those files to hear, and, you know, we go ahead and move Jason up if you would be interested into
I feel
a
like it'd
regular
be
meeting.
really different.
I know, it would be so different, cause you're almost always a voting member, right? So, you know, but it does, just kind of allow alternates to not feel like they have to participate in the vote while they're kind of learning, you know, how to participate. So, our first thought is that anyone that we, recruit or that comes in through a letter of interest, that shows, an interest in serving, that, they would have that ability to kind of have that alternate position to just feel a little more
And
confident.
it's just one alternate we have,
We've
or we
actually
have two.
had 2 in the past,
and we just don't have to right now.
and we haven't had 2
So we
since
just have
Aaron left, remember, it's been a while.
We currently have 6.
And then how is that solicited other than this meeting and on the county website? Does it go in the newspaper or anything, or how, is
So-
there some reach?
We do it out, we announce it in several different places. I think like when Melissa goes to the community coffee, I think she mentions it, so we kind of get it out into different networks. Whatever we're participating in, I made the announcement at the Board of Adjustment, we also do need members of the Board of Adjustment, but right now, we've only been putting it on the website. But if there's anywhere else, we're just kind of time crunched. We may take out an ad after the first of the year for kind of our alternate positions when we have a little more time. We've just been trying to make sure that we have enough regular members for this new board to come on. And we also want to find out from the county commissioners how they want us to do it. Every Board of County Commissioners has had a kind of a different idea of how they want us to seat positions. And so we just wanna go in with the new Board of County Commissioners saying, we have our 5
Functioning
regular,
board members, yeah.
and then it would give us a little more time to do a little more marketing and advertising for those alternate positions. If that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah.
But we do have one letter in, of interest, his name is Ryan Hill, he lives at 114 East 15th Street. He's saying, I'm writing to express my interest in serving as a member of the Lake County Planning Commission Advisory Board. While I do not have direct experience, I am deeply vested in the welfare and development of our community and am committed to actively contributing to its growth and sustainability. Having lived in Lake County for the past 2 years, I've developed a deep appreciation and passion for the advancement of our community. I am passionate about preserving the qualities that make our county special while supporting thoughtful and forward-thinking initiatives that address current and future needs. In my professional life, I have developed skills in financial services that I believe would be valuable to the commission in planning and sustainability. I'm eager to collaborate with fellow community members and contribute to decisions that benefit our residents and home. Thank you for considering my application, and I will welcome the chance to discuss my interests further if necessary. So what we were gonna do with any of the letters that come in, we were gonna go ahead as staff and just do like a 30-minute kind of talk to them, just kind of see, you know, what's driving them, their interest, and just a little more information. Anyone is welcome to sit in with us when we meet the candidates, and like I said, hopefully what we were thinking is with the planning commission, we can come in, go ahead and have enough to do the appointments with the Board of County Commissioners, and then these 2 alternate spots, we could really spend some time. And then if you'd like to have kind of a candidate interview, whatever you wanna do, but we thought we'd at least just kind of do a preliminary conversation so they understand what the commitment is. It is an unpaid volunteer position, and but you could get to you get to help with the comp
I was
plan.
hoping I was still getting a check in the mail.
After all these
So-
years.
After all these years, it still hasn't come, but I thought for sure.
So we just wanted to kind of just like give them a little bit of information, what commitment means and those kind of things.
And just to clarify, I think you would put that information in front of us so that we could have an opinion and a recommendation to the commissioners, but ultimately they get to assign
Right.
our seats.
And just so, since it's being recorded, are there any qualifiers for,
Very good question. You do have to be a primary resident. You have to be a resident of the county, and you have to be permanent. That's the biggest one.
and 18 or older?
Yes.
So, no,
18
okay,
or older and a permanent resident,
okay.
so. But wouldn't it be interesting to have a junior planning commission?
I know,
Alright.
well, there's been times I thought,
Wouldn't
Well,
that
cause
be
yeah, you said
interesting?
you met with the high school students, and so I thought that would be interesting to have a younger perspective.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them to the meeting, so we ended it with, you know,
Come on,
like
Laverne.
Roxy, you know, can we get them in to one of our meetings, you know, wouldn't it be amazing if they came to hear one of the bigger meetings, just to have that experience of hearing
yeah,
how the community reacts and what people feel and what that means, you know, might scare them, or it might really light, you know,
Yeah,
some
some kind of passion.
inspiration about like, I wanna be in there fighting for, you know, what I think is right for my community, so, or there's probably been a few meetings that could be a little intimidating, so you never know. But
Yeah.
still, I think it'd be such an amazing, experience, so. We'll keep the letters coming in, but if everyone so far, and I know we only have 4 members tonight, we can ask Joey and, Steve what they think. But so far, staff would be taking, since we're in this situation of all new commissioners, we'll have to do their board appointments in January, that we would say our 5 regular members we've got, the letter of interest from Heather to continue, and basically you would take, Howard's, regular voting member, spot. So, you can all send me, a message on email, or unless you wanna just say now that sounds like a good, plan, but that's kind of what we were thinking for managing this. I mean, normally when we're doing appointments, we don't have this whole board turnover, so we're trying to make it a little more supported this time.
no, it sounds great to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Howard and, David, what do you both think about that plan?
Sounds great to me.
Okay, great,
Cool.
okay, awesome. So that's all we have on that item.
Next is the Gateway extension.
So,
We finally got it to unmute.
Bye.
I think it's a great plan. Yeah, I've
Okay.
been hitting this, I'm about ready to pound it in the ground, but I got it working. Anyway, I think it's a tremendous plan. Keep up the good work.
Great. Gateway Village, and I think, I'm not sure if you all have, participated in any Gateway conversation, but this is a, subdivision PUD located at the junction of Highway 91 and 24. They have been through sketch plan and have an approved sketch plan. They are proposing to have roughly 400 dwelling units, with 90% of that is workforce housing. Serving 80 to 120, of our, area and median income households. So it is the largest private developer that we have that is contemplating housing that would have deed restrictions that would keep it affordable in perpetuity for locals. So these are not, they would be bound by whatever those price points are for those income levels. So it's not creation of $700,000 houses. It is creation of 400 dwelling units, or roughly 90% of that, for area and local households.
That was the multifamily plus a few single family
Mm-hmm.
and the containerized waste treatment.
Yes.
So,
So we had a conversation today, and just so the ask of them, let me first, cause I'd love to kind of share something that we learned today, but the ask is that their sketch plan, that entitlement is good for 1 year. So through this, from the time that they're at sketch and now they're getting ready to deliver us a preliminary, their investor backed out. But we have now met with, it's called Republic, I don't know if it's not One Republic, cause that's a band, but it's, I don't wanna say One Republic, but I think it's Republic Builders, out of Texas. We've met with them, they have come in, the other, developer waffled on that commitment to the, what they refer to the development, the current property owner refers to as missing middle. They waffled on that and they said, we won't sell the property to them, that is not what we vowed that we would bring to this community. So that went by the wayside, and they had this other developer that had been discussing it with him anyway. Out of their Texas base, they've come in, they've met with us, they have other models where this has been successful. But they want to stay the course, they want to keep with what the sketch plan is, they wanna keep that commitment to bring affordability to the community. And so this would further move that process along, but in between that, we're at that year mark and they need the 1 year extension. So the code says that as long as there's a confidence that they can perform and bring preliminary forward, within that 1 year, we can grant them a 1 year extension. And if what has happened is really no fault of the developer, so they would like consideration that losing their other investor who wasn't, changed directions on them as far as the affordability piece, that has caused some time for them to transition into the new development company that they're engaged with. So that, along with some developments around the wastewater treatment, it took some time. They needed to negotiate with the Mountain View Village on a discharge permit to go across their property and easement to get to the Arkansas to discharge. So they had a few setbacks along the way. And so staff would recommend granting the 1 year extension, otherwise they have to go back, go through sketch, go through preliminary. We're adding one more level, and I'm not sure what we would accomplish by making them go through the sketch plan process again, as long as they keep their firm commitment to working towards bringing affordable housing units into the community. So staff's recommendation is to go ahead and grant them the 1 year extension based on those facts. And so, but we take your recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, and the commissioners grant the 1 year extension if you support it. So we're asking tonight for you to make a motion to support the extension of the Gateway sketch plan for 1 year to allow them time to bring in the preliminary plan.
Do we need a file number to make that motion, or we're good without it?
I think, let's go ahead and just make the motion with the
Okay.
Gateway sketch plan.
Okay.
And I don't think I can pull that number up too quickly.
That's fine.
And
You
so
think
this
you can?
is just strictly saying the existing sketch plan
Approval.
approval has one
We have
year
one extra before they need to get us preliminary plat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the preliminary plat is the much more detailed version anyway, so like, if we were talking about extending that for a year, then I would have more questions, but, like, if we had gone to there, but.
Where was the original developer from? Was it like Kansas or?
The,
investor?
the original, they had done more, well, there's been a couple different ones along the way. But this, current one, it was actually doing more development like on the Front Range, and even on the Eastern Plains. But they came in and, kind of shifted to like, a LIHTC project, which is, 60%, but but a minimal amount of LIHTC and then a lot of market rate. So the numbers were not adding up. LIHTC, if you're successful in a competitive LIHTC, you can get 60% of your development costs covered. LIHTC can be a very strong moneymaker, if managed. I mean, it's great for a community, but it was kind of like coming in and saying, well,
Using that to make market rate.
yeah, and so it was really the wrong combination when we had that conversation. And the property owner recognized that immediately too, and said that's not what we're trying to accomplish here. And we really wanna stick to our goal of being able to bring in a vastly more affordable product for the community.
So my only thing would be, how many times do you extend it if this happens again? Or is
Like,
this,
Get
You
them one
want-
time.
you can, okay, that's.
Yeah, you get
that's
one
in
shot
there.
at this,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so they'll have this one this year, to put the pieces together, but they are working, hard on that, and we are starting to have a monthly check-in with the Sand District, as they are learning kind of what their capacity of the plant is, and they're working on upgrades, within their collection system. And, there is a possibility of, at least a discussion, I mean, there's no commitment from the district at this point, other than, that there is a willingness to have a conversation about adding Gateway into the district. And that would be, beneficial in a lot of different ways, both from, the affordability of the housing, because the cost of bringing in the wastewater treatment plant, is, $17 million has been spent on just collection and upgrades to the local sand plant. To go ahead and develop your own, wastewater treatment facility, is quite a lift. So the, possibility of the district being able to accept Gateway into the district would be extraordinary, and it is something that is, there's a possibility for the conversation. And so that will not only help, the, solvency of the development plan, but also, help keeping an eye on affordability. So if we can keep the cost of the development down, and they could come to district, that would be extraordinary. And we found out today that that is a conversation that is being entertained, so that's really exciting news.
Cool.
23, 13, and 14.
Oh my gosh, look at 23, 13, and 14. Your
Those
final
are file
numbers.
numbers for whoever wants to make a motion.
I don't have my script, but I'll make a motion to extend the 1 year gateway deadline for file 24-13 and 14.
23, 13.
23
13 and 14.
13 and 14.
And then it's for the Gateway sketch plan
Major subdivision sketch and PUD sketch.
and PUD sketch. Great, give it a
Second.
Great, thank you. Any discussion, any questions? Alright, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion
Awesome.
carries, yeah.
Thank you. I think that's all that we have. I can't, it's busy these days, and we're gonna hit the ground running in January, so.
Yeah,
Hold
nice.
on and enjoy the rest of the month.
I know. Happy month.
That's right.
Alright, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I can't make all the motions, alright?
You're here, you have
Yes,
to
you
make it. Dave's gonna make it, I can see he, I'm
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank
Yay.
you.
See everybody
Thank you.
next year.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you.